recording. So welcome everyone. So my name is Debbie Spence. I work at the City of Hamilton. I am a business development consultant and I help out with the creative industry. So business development for businesses, but also workforce development. So I wanted to welcome everyone and thank all of the panelists for attending today, and especially for the support and the creation of this session from the Hamilton Black Film Festival, and for the support and coordination from Light Camera Hamilton, the school boards, NABIT 700. So I'm going to pass it over to Nathan, and then hope you will enjoy the panel. We have a couple of slides. Feel free to put questions in the chat and we'll get to them at the end. Thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome, everyone. It's always exciting to see so many people interested in this industry. So we're all really happy to be here. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for your interest in today's event. We thought it was fitting to do this panel since tomorrow is World Dream Day, and as we know, we're all dreamers in this industry. This day was created by film director James Cameron, which ties in nicely to the exploration of careers in film. Today's even a special partnership between the City of Hamilton, the Hamilton Black Film Festival, and Lights Camera Hamilton. Our panelists and film experts, especially Paize from the Hamilton Black Film Festival, has been key in leading the development of today's event. A bit of a plug for the HBFF, the Hamilton Black Film Festival. It was launched in 2020, and I'm going to turn it over to Paize to begin this, and hope we have lots of questions. We have some great experts here that are just waiting to talk to you, because we were all you once. We were all, trying to get into the business at some point, and we were looking for mentors to kind of help us through, and that's why they're all here today. So don't be afraid to ask questions. I'll leave it over to you, Paize, Hamilton Black Film Festival.
Thank you, Nathan, for that warm introduction. I would like to thank the the school board, the students who are going to be listening to us today, and our co-film board this year, four of us here that is going to be speaking to everyone. How this is going to work today, everyone is going to be asked some questions about the film industry, and everyone will be given time frame to answer those questions. I'm happy that this is the industry we love. As the founder of the Hamilton Black Film Festival in 2019, they came up with the idea that it is a good thing that this city have a place where people of color submit their films every year and everybody celebrate it. So as you know, the BIPOC community has been doing that since we started, and last year was a big progress for everyone who were involved. And I'm very proud of the people of this city, how everyone came together to help us. Having said that, so today, we are going to answer some questions, and we are going to talk to many students about the film industry, the career that they are taking, the path that they want to go. I'm very happy to let them know how I started. And before then, I want us to introduce ourselves. As the moderator, my name is Paize Usiosefe, founder of Hamilton Black Film Festival. Now I'll hand over to the guest, Caitlin. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Caitlin O'Neill, and I am a freelance makeup artist from anything from beauty, fashion, photography, and special effects.
Ava.
Hi, my name is Alva. I am NABIT 700 in the Phoenix department, and I do from painting flags to painting props, and I'm still on the venture of learning so much more about the business.
My buddy, Scott.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm an editor by trade. That's how I make my living. And I'm also a filmmaker, writer, and director, and all things film that I like to do. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to take some of the questions. Question number one. How did you start? How did you start to become a film producer? How did you get into this industry? Scott.
Well, it was the journey started when I was fairly young. I would say, mid high school, and I was interested in film just from watching movies. I used to watch the movie Apocalypse Now. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but I was really impressed, and I just got a bunch of books out from the library and started to read about, how movies were made. So it started out very, very much at the beginning. I really didn't know anything. I think there's more film literacy these days, but then, it just showed how to make titles, even like by putting a little piece of glass in front of a camera with like some little letters on it. But now you can use your computer to do the same thing quite easily. So it just shows how things change. But yeah, I started out just by going to the Hamilton Public Library.
So let me talk to the students about the industry. The industry is like a huge ocean. It's a big ocean that have a lot of rivers flowing through it from every part of the world bringing their contents. So there are huge contents. There are some rivers that will merge with others. Some won't make it there, but some are already there. So it's a big enterprise. So if you want to go this way, there's something I want you to understand. If you are thinking as a producer or a director or a writer or whatever, what really matters here is that to make a film, you need a story. If you are a producer, if you have that instinct to become a producer in the future, what you need is to look for people who have stories. And if you are a writer, you want to move forward, you want a story to be heard, you got to be looking for a producer as well. So everything works together. So with the stories, so if you look at the chain of the production, without story, there's no production. You can't produce without a story. So most of the season, you're at school right now, you know a friend who can tell stories. So some of your friends who just come around and they keep saying things, sometimes annoys you. Maybe it's time for you to start paying attention to those friends. If you can call a friend and say, those stories, that story, let us write it down as a script. Maybe we can shoot it. So if he gives you the opportunity to write that story, then what you do then is to try to register those stories. Either WGA or WGC, register it, then you become the writer and he become the owner of the story. So moving forward, that's how you got to collaborate with friends. Because most of you there right now, you can create a production company, but you don't know it. But if you collaborate and talk to friends, especially those who want to be producers, and start talking to friends, man, you have something, try to identify how friends think. You create a big production. Now, I want to ask a question from Ava. Ava, you know, when you go on set, sometimes you don't see, there was nothing there the first day. The following day, you see a post office in a parking lot. Post office, sometimes their window leads to nowhere or door leads to nowhere, but they create it so that they can use it for that particular scene.
Exactly.
So people create things like that. They are called set decorators or set constructions, all right? So can you tell the students a little more what you do on set?
Sure. So we start our day, we come in right at 7 o'clock in the morning. I know it sounds early, but you get used to it. So we come in, we either figure out if there's something that we're continuing from the previous day, or if there's a new job that we're doing, and then we collect our tools, find out what we need for that job specifically, and then attack the task. So basically, my day would consist of me finding out if I finished painting in this room. Today, let's say I'm doing a bedroom. I'm painting a bedroom today, and yesterday we were doing some gnomes. So the task for me today was to finish the gnomes and then come in and do the bedrooms. And what that means is I just need to make sure that I have all my tools to fulfill each task. And you never know, it's just so exciting. Like I didn't think I'd be painting gnomes on this show. It's just so random, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Basically, you just got to figure out where your day is starting and where you want it to end. Making sure that you're prepared, have all your tools, and make sure you're talking to your team and you're all on the same page, and just attacking the task from there. And if you have any questions or you're feeling uncomfortable, the people that you work with, everyone that I've worked with has been so supportive, because I'm a new member and I'm still learning a lot. So the first thing, again, like we do, is we figure out where we are during the day, what we're supposed to be attacking, and get our tools, talk to our higher ups, and just attack the task.
Okay, that's great. Now we're gonna go to Caitlin. I know in movies, you make people beautiful. You make people look like villains. You make people look like they were dug from the ground. Can you tell the students what it takes to be a makeup artist?
Sorry, can I tell you what?
Tell the students what it takes to be a makeup artist.
Got you. So my path has been a little all over. But I was in school for aesthetics and cosmetology, learning more kind of the beauty side of it. And makeup is what I was really interested in. And also being such a fan of movies. And if you've ever seen the show Face Off, with the crazy special effects that they do, it was very interesting to me. So after school, I ended up taking night classes at Mohawk, just for my general interest of just wanting to learn more about makeup. And then from there, I got connected with my teacher, actually connected me, and I started doing makeup actually at the mall. And basically through there, one of the clients I was doing her makeup, and we got talking more about it. And I was just telling her that makeup is my passion, not as much of all the other stuff. And her daughter worked for CHCH. So she's like, well, let me get you in contact with her, and maybe you can talk to her makeup artist and see how she got kind of more in the industry. So basically I contacted her daughter, then got in contact with her makeup artist, and I ended up just asking if I could shadow her on set. I wanted to see what it was like to be on a film set. And she was great. She had me on board, and a few days actually I just went with her on set, was just in the background. But I got to tell you, the energy on set is really something amazing. Seeing everyone work together as a team, seeing her job and putting these kind of characters to life, I was really hooked. So then from there, I went back to school in Toronto and took a full program to learn everything to do with makeup. We did beauty, fashion, we did theater, and then got into film and TV, and then ended up getting into special effects and creature design. I didn't expect to fully get into I didn't realize that I would be so into special effects and creature, but I did so well with it. Again, I got connected with one of the teachers who has a special effects shop here in Hamilton, and started working for the shop. And basically through there, it's a lot of just word of mouth and connections. I was able to work on set with them at the shop, and then just, again, making more connections. The makeup artist that I was shadowing, she's helped me get jobs as well. If she's not available, she's put my name forward. And now it's been a mix. I do a mix of working for photographers doing beauty makeup, and then I'm also asked to make a prosthetic and fully turn someone into a whole different character, and go that way. So to be honest, I love having my hands into different projects, and it's more of now just who you know, who you can connect with. There's Facebook groups you can, be a part of that help post jobs. And then, I've gone on mandy.com. That's also kind of connects film crew together. And I've just followed any job really that comes up and what I can do, just kind of diving right into it. So yeah.
Good. The next question is, things you were missing before you become a film producer or working on films, things you wish you would have known before you joined it. So I'm going to start with Scott. What is it that you were missing before you become a film producer? You never know everything right. And all of a sudden, when you came into the business, you start to understand more.
Yeah, I mean, the things I would like to have known, I guess, if I had a time machine, would be, what it was like once I finished school and got out into the working world. I think there's different colleges and universities here in Canada and programs that all kind of specialize in different things. So the industry kind of views them, for like, well, if you went from this school, then you're this, even though you might have learned a lot of different things. So that's one thing, because you end up, there's a lot of, you get placed in different roles and assigned certain tasks based on what school you went to. So you have to do your research on like, I went to Sheridan, which was, post-production. We made a lot of movies, but it turned out it's really focused on post-production. Whereas when I was working at the CBC, all the producers, I guess, were from Ryerson, but that's more of a journalism thing. But so you have to kind of watch. And then if you want to be a writer, you kind of got to go to the Canadian Film Center if you want to be a screenwriter. So you got to, that's where they kind of will hire you from there. So yeah, you have to make sure, if you don't want to get pigeonholed, you have to make sure you do things correctly that way.
That's good. Yeah, mine was, I never knew it's very difficult to raise money. Because I always want to be an independent film producer, right? So when I came in, when you are creative, you're doing things not for the money, right? You just keep doing it. All of a sudden, when you have the product, you can, man, what am I going to do with all this? Because you're an independent producer, so all those things. So I had that problem. I wish I knew how difficult it was then. But the creativity just keep driving me to do it. So those are one of the things. It doesn't have to stop you from doing something anyway. But because if you don't do it, it will be there, because there's nothing, you can't go around it. So you can't go around it. So that was my problems. So now I'm going to ask the same question with Caitlin. Yeah.
Few things. So I find with film, some people tend to think it's very glitz and glamour. But I must say it's not always the most glamorous job. It's very early mornings and sometimes long days. As a makeup artist, we tend to be there first on set, because we need to set up and we need to get the actors processed first. And then we're usually there at the end of the night to be able to take off the makeup, and we got to clean brushes and get all that done. So one thing is just that it's not as glamorous. And the other thing is speed. I didn't realize how speed is something you need to really be good at. Sometimes I was thinking with makeup, I'll have all this time and get to kind of pick what I want to do and get really creative with it. And absolutely, more side projects, it's more the creativity, or if you're developing characters or working with the director to develop the looks. But for the most part, the director, photographer, whoever is coming at you and telling you what look they are wanting, and you're portraying that, and usually having to do, a full face of makeup in X amount of time and needing to get that done. So it's you got to be accurate, have really good speed, and be able to work with everybody very well, and just knowing that it's not always up to you. You need to roll with the punches. You could have someone, a director as well. Let's say you do a full face makeup. If they're not completely happy with it, you may have to take it off and do it again. And that's okay. And you kind of have to roll with it, but just being able to do that. So it was kind of just understanding that it's not as organized, and you don't get all this time that you might think you have. It's, you really got to work with others, and yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, but just being able to kind of stick to it and listen well. But yeah, that's kind of things that I learned once getting into the industry.
Alva, can you tell us a bit about your story?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing that I wish I knew about, I guess, the film industry to Keelan's point is that things can get flipped around very quickly. You'll be working on a set and do a whole entire room, and the designer comes by or whoever it may be and says, yeah, I don't like it. And so you're like, okay, so we're redoing this whole thing again? That's cool. But to that point though, I will say that I also wasn't expecting how well they take care of us on set. To the point where I've had a lot of jobs in the past where I don't get break, I don't get fed lunch, right? And like, you're just grinding, you're working hard, and we constantly work hard here, but they also make sure that we're okay. So they make sure that you get your breaks. Got to take your breaks. They make sure that we get fed. And that is phenomenal, because it's, in order for us to do our job and do it well, we have to be healthy and happy and, you know, like, be able to do that in a safe environment. And they actually do. My experience anyway has been that they do actually take care of us, and they do try to make sure that we're comfortable in order to do our jobs. But that also counteracts with, then you have to be patient, because there will be situations where you're doing things more than once, sometimes twice, and sometimes 3 times, and you have to be okay with it. And yeah, it's been pretty awesome.
Punctuality and dedication is always the key, you know? Yeah. One thing people don't understand is that punctuality is very stubborn, because you got to be there, all right? You got to be there. So is dedication. You got to be there. So that's what is going to say. So let's talk about production manager and ADs, what they do on set, because people don't really mostly understand. Because in any film, you're going to spend a lot of money to do it, all right? So in order to save cost and everything, so you got to rely on a good production manager and ADs to keep everybody straightened up, all right? So for example, let's say you're shooting a film for 30 million and it's going to be 30 days. So which means 1 million per day. And a production manager and AD, we hold a meeting and come to a conclusion that they can do it for about 20 days. All right? 20 days, they still have to have a meeting with other production chains to save cost. So those are the areas I would like students who's going to start doing films. Let's say a student who live about 1 kilometer from his school, you walk to school every day, you stop somewhere, your friend comes along, you go, you cross guide, you go. If you write all these things down every day and create a little more, confrontation somewhere, you find out you have a short film. You might not know it, because all these things, everything is just about thinking. When you write something down, you're going to have something. If you don't write, don't expect to have anything. So especially those who wants to be producers, you got to be one that is hunting stories. Collaborate with friends. So these are the areas that, even when you set up your production company among your friends, and you're going to shoot, say, 15 minutes short film, and you rally around your friends and you guys have about a few bucks to do it. Just choose a production manager and AD and let them come and say, look, how do we string these things so that we can save some money? Because at the end of the day, it's about saving money and making money in the industry. So those who can really save money for a production company, they get a lot of jobs. And those who cannot, nobody is going to hire them. So they know those people who are really on top of their job. So you can be among your friends, call one production manager, a director, AD, cameraman. So just try to do something. That's what it takes. You got to do something every time. You got to write. You got to collaborate. Otherwise, what you have, you don't put in the paper, nobody will see it. It will live with you, and nobody will ever know about it. So that's my advice for the students who want to be in the films. So what is the next? Let's talk about how do we survive as independent producers in our fields. Definitely we have other jobs. So let's talk about that. I will start with you, Scott.
Yeah, so a lot of times everyone who gets into film likes to be, I'm not sure if it's switching over here or not. Can everyone see me?
I can see you. I can see you.
Okay, because I'm still looking at your camera, Pi. You know, so you have to, you know, get by. You want to be an artist. You want to be a filmmaker. Well, you know, your life will, you know, life moves pretty quick. You're gonna maybe want to have a family. You're gonna want to pay your bills and work and you know, and have some money to eat. So I think you know, you have to be practical. That's one thing that's good about post-production is, you know, there seems to be quite a bit of jobs and things, whereas, you know, oh, I have a screenplay, you know, that's a bit more of a pie in the sky kind of a thing. So you have to kind of balance everything. It's taken me, I've always made films, you know, the big thing is getting people to watch them and that, but you know, I've always enjoyed my post-production work, and you know, it's all for big broadcasters and stuff. So it's getting out there. People are seeing your work. They're seeing your talent. You know, and of course, the bonus is that when you make your own films, you're really good at editing them. So that's kind of what happened for me. And yeah, you know, you have to do what you're passionate about, and you have to make time for that. But yeah, you should always keep your eye on the practical. You know, you don't want to turn anything down that like might be a good thing for you, right? So keep an open mind is what someone suggested to me in this industry. Keep an open mind, and if there's a paycheck, go for it, you know.
Alva, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What other stuff you do to support yourself apart from the film industry?
So sorry, what was the question? I don't know if I'm going to answer it correctly.
We as filmmakers, we have other part-time job, other things that we do to sustain. Yeah, so that's what we do.
Yes. Well, so I'm just starting in this industry, like I mentioned, so I'm fairly new, but as my, I guess, part-time gig, I used to manage a paint store, and that's how I didn't find my way into this industry like your normal or typical person would. I didn't go to school for it. You should still go to school for it. I didn't. But I worked at a paint store for 6 years, and I got to learn about the products. And if I had to fall back on or needed something to fall back on, I'd probably be back at the paint store to, you know, beef up my knowledge, because I am in the paint department. It is good to know what you're working with, and there's so many new products and items that come out every so often. So that would be my backup. I normally, if I'm a new mom as well, so I don't mind enjoying my downtime, but when I do have that extra downtime, working at the paint store is my backup.
Okay, So how do you manage your time with the film industry? Yeah.
Well, my boss is very lenient. So basically the way it would work for me is I'd be on a production for a yay amount of time. And as soon as the show is done or if the film is done, I would basically shoot him a message professionally, just asking him if he needs a hand back at the paint store. Oftentimes he does, because he does service the film industry and it is quite busy. And so I would just shoot him a message professionally and say, if you need an extra body, I'm there. And then he takes me on and I work with him for a couple of weeks until I have to start my new show again.
That's great. Yeah, for me.
Always nice to have a backup. So when you're in this industry, that's the only thing that I would say is that I'm not necessarily creative in the sense of making money like with makeup or writing outside of painting in this industry, but hard work, definitely hard work. Wherever you can, don't burn any bridges, make sure that you have a backup, and always respect who you're working with on set, because you never know, they might actually give you an opportunity outside of what show or film that you're working on, so that you have another revenue once you're done your production or your show.
Yeah, mine was just simple because I do a lot of writings, and so I take my kids to school and come back. So that makes me wake up early. And
Exactly.
so come back, just have coffee or tea, then start writing. But when my kids grew up, now I found myself not waking up so early because I have my shooting studio at home, my office, and my editing. So it was like I was just home. Like sometimes I don't even leave my home. I thought this is bad because they were happy. I didn't know that taking them to school was helping my writing. So I decided to do something. And then I said, okay, I have to do something that I can do in the morning. I come back to write. So the instinct kicked in. I ended up driving kids to school, a school bus. So I did that. So dropped in 9 a.m. I'm home. I start writing again, just like before. So it's like around some time I gotta go pick them up, just like I used to pick up my kids. So everything work around what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying it because the kids I'm driving, they are great. I drive special need kids. So that's just make me see more about the community and make me see, how people, human beings, they appreciate a lot of things that we do. It brought me back to the family of those guys. So I help him build the community, which is so great. This is another mind opening. So the next question will be, how do we individuals talk to the students that the trade they are going into, what they should be expecting, and what you want them to do or not to do? So I want to ask Scott those questions.
You mean like some general advice?
Yeah, advice to the students. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know for me, you get into things because you have a passion for things. Like you saw a film or you had an experience that really made you, get excited about the film industry. And I think that is the core and key of everything, is that you need to make sure you're passionate enough about it that, you won't give up, because there'll be ups and downs. So you definitely need to keep that passion going and do, and everything you put in, you get out. So you just have to make sure you're putting in, whether that is reading a book, making a call, meeting someone, going to like an open house, or even listening to a Zoom meeting like this. Always try and be putting something into it. And I find that you harvest that effort, and don't give up. It'll always, it might look dark sometimes, but if you're passionate, and sometimes, then you're on top of the world. It's just like that. Things change in this business. It's very much about waiting for the pendulum to swing, and not losing hope. But but it is difficult. And, you know, for every, you know, every kind of like Caitlin said, like, oh, it's supposed to be so glamorous, you know, for every piece of glamour, there's also the dark side. And, you know, you'll get used to seeing that, and you'll get used to experiencing that. And it's on very many levels in your personal life and everything. And the last piece of advice I would give is, you know, get good at saving your receipts. Anything you buy, save the receipt for your taxes. It's a great habit to get into early.
Okay, now it's open questions time. Okay. Okay. So now it's open question to everyone. What kind of question we're asking from the audience?
Caitlin, did you want to go with your advice first? I see somebody had asked the question.
Sure. Yeah, a lot similar to what Scott said. For advice, one big thing is keep practicing and keep going with it. When I got out of school, and a lot of people will tell you, you know, say yes to every opportunity, and to a point, yes. But understand that in the beginning, you know, it's more about the opportunity, getting experience, maybe, you know, like I shadowed someone on set. Again, it's being able to just get your hands in and learn as much as you can, talk to people, network, and practice. So during the, you know, when everything was on lockdown, I wasn't able to do makeup, and I ended up starting just kind of doing makeup on social media, and just at least still practicing on myself, and still, you know, still staying within the industry, where then I can still connect with people, and I can do makeup lessons, or again, everyone's turning to online, virtual. So it's also rolling with what's popular, what's going on, and staying with it. But yeah, stay motivated. It is quite a hustle. I will say that. So I do also work at a spa, the front desk of a spa. I have a job where I kind of have more of that security. I know I can pay my rent, but staying true and honest to my bosses and saying, you know, my passion is makeup. This is what I went to school for. This is what I want to do. And I let them know if something comes up. So I'm able to take the time off to do what I am passionate about, because I you know, you need to stay happy and do what you want to do, but also, you know, be realistic as well, because everyone's got bills and things to take care of. And yeah, so it's just keeping up with it, constantly learn, network with people, take the opportunities if something comes your way, because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know which doors are going to open and who's going to be on set that you can connect with. And maybe they're looking for a makeup artist for another job that will take you somewhere else. You never know. So it's just constantly staying connected. And I will say, I do have a few makeup artists that I like to connect with every once in a while, see how they're doing. You know, share tips and tricks. We go for coffee, just to stay current and relevant in the industry.
We're going to start getting questions from the audience. Anyone can submit their questions now so we can answer. And before then, I will add.
We got to do Alva's advice.
Alva, your advice?
Yes. So my advice, I kind of mentioned this before, is definitely not burning a bridge. This industry is so vast, and there are so many different things you can partake in. There's so many different departments, being from creative to technical, to writing anything, right? But it's really about networking and making sure that you're like always being on point, making sure that you're not, again, I know I said this 3 times, but seriously not burning a bridge, because to Caitlin's point, you never know who you're gonna bump into on set. You don't wanna be that person that's like grumpy or rude to the wrong person, and then it's like it trickles down. It is a big community, but it's also a very small world. So you might want to just make sure that you're always, being polite. You're always at your best. We're human, so yes, we're gonna have some moments where we're being a human being, and we are not our fullest during the day. But everyone that I've worked with has been super understanding. They have been super open. Another advice that I would say is that, just don't compare yourself to, don't compare yourself to other people. I started in this game really late, and there have been people who have been doing this for as long as I've been born. And that's okay. You learn from them. You take advantage of that and you learn, right? You just keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, respect the elders above you, take what you can from them and put your own twist on it, right? And just be yourself. Just don't rush, like Scott mentioned, it's going to be a waiting game. Some of you might not leave high school and jump right into it. Some of you will. Sometimes you'll be 30 and you'll just be starting, or you'll be 22 and just be starting, right? It's just all a waiting game, and you got to just be really patient and know that when you do join, and if you do work hard, all good things will come to you. That's it.
Well said.
So what is the best way to discover opportunities when trying to pursue films?
Am I answering this?
I'm going to give that to Scott.
So yeah, I saw a question there also, like what was the first thing I did, and what have I worked on? Yeah. So I started out on the Red Green show in Hamilton, which was here, shot for 13 years. Half of that was exclusively in Hamilton, and half of it was in Toronto, and then always the outdoor stuff was in this area. So I used to do that, and then I went to Global and CBC, and I used to do documentaries for like Peter Mansbridge and Adrian Arsenault and the people at Global, like Carolyn Jarvis. I'm still working for them. So yeah, just a broadcast editing. I got, when I was at the Red Green show, I was out in the field doing the post-production side there. And I got that job through a friend at school. So in college, my friend, she had more opportunities actually than she knew what to do with. So she kind of passed one on to me. So that's kind of how it works. So make sure you're nice to everyone, again, like Elva said. And the other thing, when you do get an opportunity, make sure you know your role, you know your place. I think like we all have this passion for the creative side and that, but you have to do what you're there to do, because you don't want to rub anyone the wrong way. And if people are more open to your ideas, if you don't come with an ego, then the people you're working for will be more open to maybe listening to your creative side, rather than, hey, I'm the best, but you're dealing with people who have paid their dues for the most part. But so you don't want to rub them the wrong way. So just, if you know your place, if they find out, they will find out who you are if you're there long enough. They will find out if you're, say, a passionate artist on the side, or you do drawings or something. Like eventually, things will come out, and maybe they'll give you a chance to show who you are. So yeah, it's just going to happen. You're going to get a call, or you're going to see something, and then it's just go quick. A lot of times it's whoever shows up first. If a couple people know about the opportunity, of course, don't speed and don't get in any accidents. You know, there's never ever a time when you need to do things unsafe. That's the #1 rule. Always be safe, because everything will work out how it's supposed to.
So the next question is, what would everyone like to be in 5 years from now? I'll ask Caitlin that.
So ideally, like I said before, I right now am working at a spa as well as doing freelance makeup artistry on the side, working for film and TV, and taking any gig really I can get. But eventually, I would like to do this full time. I would like to build up enough clientele, working for enough, different production companies, photographers, where I can then structure my schedule how I'd like. That would be kind of the ideal way to go about it. But I really do working for the film industry. I have a few photographers that I like to connect with, and it's really just building that up to more full time. That would be kind of my best scenario, and building up my own schedule. Even being able to, when any opportunity comes up, especially in the beginning, you want to say yes and you want to try to do all the things you can. But myself, I would like a personal life. I don't want to work crazy hours. I do still want time for family and friends, and being able to, build up my own schedule, and doing makeup full time, and potentially later down the road, being able to come up with my own creative projects. And putting things together. Yeah.
Ava, how did you get your first job in film? That's for Ava. How did you get your first job? Ava, how did you get your first job in film?
Alva, your mic is off.
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. I was muted, I'm sorry.
How did you get your first job in film?
Yes, so
She's already answered it 3
this is
times.
my first job. And I worked at the paint store, like I mentioned before. I worked there for 6 years, and I got to meet a lot of amazing people, very interesting people. I basically sold them the products that they needed, and if they had any questions, I helped advise them on that. But working with it versus selling it is 2 completely different things. So I listened to them tell me how they use the product. I sold it to them, and I just kept on going back and forth like that for a couple of years until I felt like, okay, you know what? I'm ready to make some serious money now. And so I just took a risk and I jumped in with both feet, and I'm here now. So this is my first show. This is my first production. I haven't been doing it for very long, but so far my experience has been amazing.
Okay. There's a question from a Glenda's student for Caitlin. How the programs of school would you recommend to get into SPFS makeup?
So I will highly recommend the school that I went to in Toronto. It's called CMU, College of Makeup Art and Design. I did the full 8-month program, which covered everything. We did hair knotting, facial knotting, to special effects, creating prosthetics, to creature design. I learned so much at that school. I'm so grateful for it. And even a year after the school, or after I graduated, they actually connect you to their job board. So for a year after you graduate, they'll actually help connect you to different jobs. So I highly recommend going to school for special effects makeup, and the one in Toronto, quite expensive, but it is so worth it. And they actually help build up your kit. So you're gonna get a lot of the special effects products that you need. The other thing is volunteer time. There is a special effects shop here in Hamilton, tons in Toronto, but there is one here in Hamilton. If you can connect with them and just say, hey, I've got this day, you need help, what can I do? And just learn kind of that way. I also do teach. I haven't taught there for a couple of years just with everything going on, but Mohawk College also has a continuing education program, and it's night courses. So, you know, if you have full-time jobs, you could take this at night, and I do teach the special theatrical and special effects program there, where you will learn how to do a facial prosthetic. But there's special effects 1 and 2, so that helps. And actually, yeah, Nathan just mentioned the butcher shop is the special effects shop here in Hamilton. And I will say, connect with your teachers. So at CMU, when I was there, I really built up a good connection with my teachers, and they helped get me jobs. They helped actually recommend me for jobs that came up. So it's really making the connections, like everyone has really said, it's having that good attitude. Taking these opportunities and learning as much as you can. And oh my God, there's so much on the internet. YouTube, tons of tutorials on how to do special effects. I still to this day will look at videos if I'm not sure how to do something. There's tons online. There's also the Stan Winston school. Now they're out in LA, I believe, but he has online courses that you can look up and you could take, and there's so much information. So again, the Stan Winston, who's known for Jurassic Park and doing all that crazy stuff. Yeah, lots out there, and just really stay connected. And I will put it out there. Anyone is welcome to contact me as well, and I can help put them in the right direction they'd like to go.
That's great. That's great. Next question. We're waiting for the next question. What program would you recommend for screenwriting and post-production? Can I volunteer as a student somewhere for film, TV? I will ask Scott that. Scott, can you take that?
Scott, you're muted again.
Scott, you are unmute yourself, Scott. Yeah.
There we go.
Can you take the next question?
I got no, for screenwriting, yeah, the Canadian Film Center is a good place to go for screenwriting. I mean, that's really people getting jobs out of there, and like en masse. I know a lot of people got screenwriting jobs after going there. And then like before that, you might want to take like an English degree or something, or maybe something more practical before you go there. It's not really somewhere you go right out of high school. And I think there's kind of, you know, if you see an online screenwriting course, Sheridan Media Arts, we did screenwriting as well. So I learned screenwriting there. So you can take it at Sheridan. And I think Ryerson has a screenwriting like element to their film and television course. So screenwriting is basically a whole nother can of worms in terms of I could give you advice about screenwriting, but there's plenty of books out there and most of them are pretty good. It's all about 3-act structure. And then volunteering, and for post-production, Sheridan's a great school. Obviously it's not, if you can get in there, but again, like Caitlin says, you can learn anything on the internet now. So you can go and look for post-production courses and even watch YouTube videos and probably become a really excellent editor. Editing is one of those things that if you have the skills and you can prove it, you'll just get hired. You don't even have to go to school if you're that good, you know, and someone will watch your reel and you can do all the kind of trick editing and the flashes and the this and that. I mean, storytelling editing takes a little time. That's what I do for documentaries and things. So that takes a bit of honing your skills. But for short promos and that, you could even teach yourself and probably get a job. I always recommend going to college though. So anyway, yes, get an education of some kind, but yeah, you can, if you learn editing and you have a good reel, you can probably get a job.
That's great. Next question. Question for Scott.
The film programs is definitely, yeah, like Sheridan. You know, I'm not familiar with a ton of other programs. I know I work with a lot of journalists from Ryerson. So yeah, for the film programs, yeah, I think, you know, even like you can be a film studies, like you can go to McMaster or Queens, like, you know, if you have a base education, if you want to kind of be like a higher up in the business, like getting like a really good university degree is going to get you like with a minor in film or something like, and then you can go to the Canadian Film Center. You know, if you want to be a technician, you go more to the Sheridan or the Mohawk colleges of the world, you know. So definitely, you know, education is your power to be, you know, to fast track yourself. So, but yeah, any Canadian major university or schools, they have pretty good film programs. But Sheridan has an excellent post-production program, and that, you know, you'll be making money like right away, and lots of it if you can get in there.
Well, I think we are running out of time. Next question. Yeah, that's right.
Mohawk's great too. I have a lot of colleagues from Mohawk that have great jobs, very talented people. Yeah, Mohawk is a fabulous college. If you're thinking of staying in Hamilton, I would recommend. A lot of my bosses at the CVC went to Mohawk. So yeah, there's nothing. The Mohawk's a great school. I love Mohawk College. I sometimes regret maybe not going. Wish I'd gone there instead of Sheridan. I wouldn't have had to commute as much.
Well, my advice for the student is to keep writing. In everything about film is about the story. When there's a story, there's going to be a film. If you want to be a producer, you got to locate everyone that is writing. You got to collaborate, come together and do great things. It's all about the story. And when you have the story, then you have something to talk about. So my advice is the industry is a little bit tricky, but when you get into the film industry, before you make it, try to have another job as well, and always try to go to meetings, you know, art meetings, collaborate with people in the community, you know, join friends. Don't be shy. Just it's film industry is about expression. Express yourself. Let the world know that you have this. When you do that, you have something to shoot. And that is just my advice. Thank you all for joining us, and thank the students. I know a few years from now, we're going to have a lot of filmmakers from this city. And our festival, Hamilton Black Films Festival, is 2022, is coming up May 25 to 30th next year. And we are accepting our films right now. And students, if you submit your film to our festival, we give you a high price of the submission, because I want to see at least 6 or 10 films from the students we're speaking to today. You know, it's very easy today to make it. So you can write a script, or your friends put characters, shoot them with your cell phone, see how it looks. When you keep doing that, you will find that you're on the path of making films. You know, do it, you learn, you try, you learn, you get a hang of it. All right, you have to do something. Film industry, you got to do a lot, especially if you want to be an independent film producer. You got to be almost everything. So it's hard working. Thank you very much for listening to us today. And everyone in the city, Debbie Spence, thank you very much for putting this together. Nathan Fleet, Hamilton Film Festival, thank you very much. The teachers, the students, the Board of Education. I'm very happy as the founder of Hamilton Black Film Festival for being here today to be a part of this. Thank you very much. I hope we do it next year.
Yes, thank you so much for all of your work. It was kind of your brainchild to bring this all together, Paize from the Hamilton Black Film Festival. So thank you very much for agreeing to, develop this and create this, and to all of the panelists. You'll see some of the kind of slides that went by. Also, thank you to had some emails for the Hamilton Black Film Festival. Lights Camera Hamilton is also an organization, nonprofit, where you can find and you can post what you do in terms of your career. It helps people that are looking for jobs within the film industry. Lights Camera Hamilton is also associated with Hamilton Film Festival that's happening in November. So that's another great option. And then there's a slide about NABET 700. So there's the website there. So if you're interested in finding out how to get part of that union and what their process is, there's a list of all the different types of careers that fit within that, which include costume, hair, lighting, sound. It's very, very diverse. And there's an email if you have questions about that as well. And then we just have a slide. If you're interested about what's filmed here, you can go to hamilton.ca/film. There's a lot of productions that have filmed here as well. And I want to thank, again, all the panelists, everyone for participating, for everyone for tuning in. And we're really kind of hoping we can do something maybe a little bit bigger next year. We'll enjoy everyone's weekend and happy International Dream Day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Nathan, do you want to say goodbye too?
Bye. We'll see you at the Hamilton Film Festival, November 4th or November 6th to the 14th. Got lots of stuff coming, lots of panels, lots of movies, lots of exciting things. So we're looking forward to November. See you there.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.